Can you talk a little bit about some of the work that your students are doing? Where are they? What are they finding? What kinds of projects are they taking on? How is the pandemic teaching them about capitalism?
Clearly, I had to abandon the idea of the final project where they work in groups of 3 or 4 and do interviews in New Haven, because none of them are here. And even if they were here, they couldn't talk to people. So I had to sort of rethink what this assignment was. And, I wanted to retain some of the interview flavor. That's part of the skill of the class, is teaching, to have an interview style conversation about capitalism, but tailored to the quarantine routines of people all over the country and all over the world. So basically, the new assignment is to just do an interview with somebody who you are quarantined with or otherwise in your family about a topic of your choice. So it could be labor, it could be gender, it could be consumption, and their life in capitalism. So many students are interviewing parents or grandparents or sometimes friends. So I'm seeing a little bit of what their ideas are. I'll have to get back to you in a couple of weeks about what comes back. But a lot of the papers are focusing on kinship, on family, on intergenerational things within families and their experience of capitalism, and how parents or grandparents experienced capitalism quite differently. So I think there's going to be a quite historical bent to some of these papers, in which they're doing some oral history of, there's people talking to their grandparents about what it was like in the mid-20th century. There's many people talking to parents who have immigrant experiences and immigrant stories in the US or elsewhere. And the idea there is both to think about how things have changed, but also I think many of them are finding their ways to approaches to capitalism that really tie it to notions of family, notions of love, notions of affect, notions of emotion, the way in which these things that appear not rational or somehow, according to many differents, outside of what you would think of as economy. Because if economy is just this sort of some transaction of money, it doesn't really matter who's transacting it. But it often does, because so much of capitalism takes place in this intergenerational exchange of care and love. So for many students, it is, what does it mean that their parents have saved up to send them to college so that they will have a different career? For many students, it's the ways in which they are supporting their parents by going to college now and planning to in the future. So it ties a lot of these, or my sense is that it wasn't my plan, but it's sort of the way it seems to be developing, is a lot of people thinking about the ways in which capitalism is tied up with family and with generations and emotions. So large-scale historical changes into which family histories are sort of layered and to which they contribute.